Good morning, Marv Meisters. How's everyone doing this morning? Me, myself, honestly, just woke up about a half hour ago and I probably look like it too. So how you doing, Wanda from Missouri? D, how you guys doing this morning? Just wanted to do a live this morning in regards to the little boy and the suitcase that was found down in southern Indiana back in April. There's going to be update presser at 10:30 this morning. So what I wanted to do is come on and give everybody just a refresher about the little boy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here and read an article that presents everything that took place with that young man back in April. Uh, Not used to being up this early, guys, but I was like, well, since they're having a presser at 10:30, I might as well do it live tonight or this morning. So let's see. Okay. All right, guys. Body of young boy found dead in Indiana was inside suitcase, trooper said. Washington County, Indiana. Indiana State Police said the body of a young boy who was found dead in the woods in eastern Washington County was found inside of a suitcase. The new details was confirmed to Wade by Sergeant Kerry Holes Tuesday evening. Troopers released a picture of the suitcase to the public with the hope that someone brings new information to the investigation. Holes said the suitcase with the boy's body inside was found in New Pekin in the woods about 80 feet off of East Holder Road and the 7,000 block. Officials say the boy's autopsy was also completed on Tuesday afternoon. The boy did not show any obvious signs of cause of death, so Hills said investigators will now rely on toxicology reports to see if the child had drugs in his system when he died. The boy was found Saturday around 7:30 p.m. by a person who was mushroom hunting in the area, according to investigators. Hills said the child is described as a black boy around 5 years old. The boy had short hair, a slim build, and was around 4 foot tall. This could obviously be a natural thing, Holst said Monday. It could be a child from any location. We're not going to preclude anybody, and we're going to look at any information that comes in that could answer the question of the identity of this child. Okay. Well, obviously, everybody knows that no one came and claimed the body of the young boy. So, one of the local funeral homes in that area went ahead and donated their time and money to prepare a service to the young boy. They got him a casket. They had a funeral for him. And what I'm planning to do now is getting ready to show that to you guys. Funeral held for unidentified child found in suitcase in southern Indiana. Okay, I'm going to have to put my mic on mute for a few minutes, guys, while I play this. So give me just a moment. Got to wait for the music to go off here so we can start it. Yeah, guys, give me just a second. I forgot to turn the audio on. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about that. Let's try this again. All right, let's get back to it again. All right. All right, give me just a second, guys.
Attention homeowners, can we install
Suitcase in April has been laid to rest in Washington County.
WDRB's Grace Haba takes us to the emotional funeral services as the community honored the life of the boy they didn't know.
Although his name is missing from his tombstone, the Washington County community says this 5-year-old child is their angel, as dozens came to pay their respects and say their final goodbyes.
Since this all took place, I've asked myself numerous times, why?
Standing beside a baby blue casket covered in stuffed animals and flowers.
We never knew him in life, but he has drawn us together with love and kindness.
Sergeant Matt Hine, the first officer on the scene on April 16th.
It makes me proud to live in this community and to serve it and to protect it.
Was one of many trying to cope with the unthinkable loss during a public funeral held for the unknown child.
This unknown angel has been adopted and beloved by Washington County. So Angel is what we will call him through the service today.
The boy, called Angel, was found dead from severe dehydration inside a suitcase in New Pekin, Indiana.
There are no words to describe who would do that to a child.
It's hard. It's hard. You're supposed to be in school. You're supposed to be playing games. You're supposed to be jumping rope. And you were robbed of that. You were robbed of that.
As the community works to find answers.
I think everybody should get involved. Everybody should care. Doesn't matter. This little boy was 5 years old. We got to care.
Many are finding comfort in one another.
Because maybe you don't know someone, that doesn't mean that you can't love them or can't care about them.
Coming together in prayer.
Amen. And amen.
And song. To remember a life gone too soon.
It gave me the example or what love truly looks like. I've seen more than just that luggage from Vegas, but I've seen a whole community of love.
The special tip line created just for this case is still very active. Police are urging anyone with information to call 1-888-437-6432. In Salem, Grace Haba, WDRB News.
Americans are growing more worried.
Okay, guys, there you go. There's a little refresher on a little boy in the suitcase that was found back in April down in southern Indiana, and a little clip of a little funeral service that the local township or county gave for the little boy. There is a presser here at 10:30 on an update. So we're just going to shoot the shit and chit chat for a few minutes until that presser comes on, guys. Is there anything anybody needs to talk about or any questions or anything? Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, Shannon, Teresa. What's up, Grizz? Nice to see you guys this early in the morning. Now, I know Vanessa's at work, so. Your local news, huh, Vanessa? Well, damn, I must have picked a good one then. Hey, Andrea. Good morning. Got about 15 minutes here. Shannon, how did the cardiologist go? Good to see everybody this morning. I'm not as much as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this early in the morning, guys, because I usually go to bed pretty late and sleep in late. So hardly working, Vanessa. My goodness. I woke up this morning freezing my ass off. It was mid-70s yesterday and got up and boy, woo, had to throw some sweatpants on, a sweatshirt on. So you're getting a cardio echo done this morning, Shannon? I hope everything works out just well. Well, I can't wait for Saturday, guys. Saturday can't get here quick enough. A lot of us are going to meet up in Delphi. I think Andrea, I know Vanessa's going to be there. Yeah, good point, Andrea. If anybody hasn't noticed yet, if you go to our YouTube channel community page, or if you go to our Facebook group, we have a website for our merchandise, t-shirts, I believe stickers, hoodies, and things of that nature. You guys go check that out. And the email, I believe, goes directly to Andrea Delph. She's the one who gets all the merchandise taken care of for us. Good morning, Randy. Nice to see you. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Y. Good to see you guys. Figured you'd have been a lot earlier, Randy. You don't sleep, guy. Don't know how you do it. So, yeah, Grizz called me about 3:30 this morning, not realizing that there's a 3-hour difference between Indiana and Oregon, I believe you live in. Or is it Washington? Yes, there's a link to order shirts on our YouTube community page and the Facebook group page if you guys want to check out our merchandise. Get any sleep last night, Randy? I was up early because it was so damn cold. Cali. Going back to Cali. So anything new out there, guys? I haven't heard anything on Delphi the last few days, except for Mike Thomas final lawsuit against Carroll County. That's about the last thing I've heard when it comes to Delphi. So, well, of course it's going to be in the 70s where you're at, Shannon. You're down in Florida. Oh, it's coming your way. Best believe that. The Bat Cave. Really? Hey, I watched that new Jurassic Park the other night, a couple nights ago. I suggest people check that movie out. It's a pretty decent movie. I really didn't get into the other ones because it was just too non-realistic. But this one seemed pretty realistic because it seemed like they were, what are they, cloning dinosaurs now? And you have little babies running around and stuff like that. It's raining up in your neck of the woods, Randy. Vanessa, you better hope it's warm down there, unless you're going to go to the East Coast of the Atlantic side. Brutally control your thoughts. Honestly, I think it was the best decision the Colts made was bench Ryan for the rest of the year. I read the article about why they benched him, and it has nothing to do with his play. Allegedly, he's got a sprained shoulder, and there's something in his contract that'll pay him even if he doesn't play next year. He gets his full package on his contract that he signed. So they're trying to heal him up. So if they decide to trade him or whatever they plan to do with him, they don't have to pay him all that money that he signed for. Going to the Caribbean, Vanessa. Nice. Yeah, I'd like to see Ellinger from Texas start because he had a pretty good preseason there, brutally controlled. So I like to see him start for a change. He's been in the league 3 years and hasn't really got the opportunity. I mean, look at some of these other guys that have been in the league 2 or 3 years and they're getting the opportunity to start in the NFL, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. So hopefully this guy from Texas, Ellinger, will do a good job. So anybody got any thoughts on Delphi right now they want to discuss before we go on this presser? Randy, any thoughts? I know Vanessa's always got thoughts. I'll be reading her messages all the time through Discord. And what about you, Grizz? Yeah, he had Andrea. He had so many stipulations in his contract. I've never seen anything like it. You'd have to go back and read through the contract. So they didn't. What did they do out there, Randy, when they were doing the upgrade? What were they doing out there? Apparently, they've been doing some work out at the Monon High Trails. Excuse me. Here recently, and I know I saw a post that they were about finishing up. I don't know if they were doing anything with the bridge or if it was just the pathway or what's going on. Vanessa, my understanding is that they didn't use pings from Ron Logan's phone. They used GPS coordinates from a satellite. That's how they determined where his phone location was, through the satellite GPS system. More signs and lighting in it than other things, Randy? Well, it almost sounds like they don't want nobody crossing that bridge anymore. That's what it sounds like to me, if they're not putting no money into it. And from my understanding that they were using Where's My Phone app, and I guess it doesn't work with the garbage out there. So I didn't plan to use that app when I go out there. I was going to use Google Earth on my phone and put the coordinates in and see the exact location. I know it's within so many feet that I can get of the actual location. So that's what I plan to do. But yeah, if I could prove, if I'm thinking correctly, the 209 call from Ron Logan, if it's the location I believe it's at, I'm here to say my honest opinion, Ron Logan is not BG, because it would take him longer than 4 minutes to get from the location I believe that it might be his 209 call was at. If I'm correct, it would take him a lot longer than 4 minutes to get from that location to basically the 7th platform on the bridge itself. Yes, coordinates are more reliable, Vanessa. I did a little bit of research on that. So, hi, Nadia. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Bud Bundy. So, hopefully everything works out well. And got word from Vanessa. It was either yesterday or the day before. She probably messaged me, and she's willing to let us use her GoPro when we're out there. Much appreciated, Vanessa. Be a lot easier for us than holding camcorders, walking through woods and things like that. So, but my main concern is the Ron Logan GPS coordinates. That's what I'm worried about, because I want to see exactly where he was at 209, or if it was even him. We know it was his phone, according to the search warrant. So that's my whole intent out. Don't forget, people, if you're new to the chat, we have a membership that you can join. Do I have any? Randy, do you have anything? Is D still in here? True Crime Shannon, are you able to post our PayPal account and things of that nature? If you want to join our membership, just go to the YouTube channel, go to our community page don't have a join button? Oh, you're donating it. Thank you, Vanessa. That's mighty nice of you. Thank you very much. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up this live. We're not going to start it right now, but I'm going to share my screen, guys. Give me just a second here. So I'll be ready for the live stream when it starts. Give me just a second. All right. Hopefully this will work, guys. Uh-oh, something went wrong. What happened here? Well, gotta find somewhere else. I don't know why it's blocking me like that. All right, give me a second. You know what? All right. Wait for this to come on, guys. Is there anything anybody want to chat about? Yeah, if anybody's going to be in Delphi, Randy, if you still have bracelets, if you want to let people know, if you have bracelets still when we're in Delphi on Saturday, if anybody wants some, you might want to get with Randy about it. Brutally, I tell you what, man, people just don't care about other people these days, man. They don't care. It's all about making money to them these days when it comes to the fentanyl and anything like that. You know, I mean, cutting half their stock in half and adding fentanyl in it to make money is pretty ridiculous, putting people's lives in jeopardy. I just makes me sick. So how everybody else this morning? What's up? Let's see. Yes, Grizz, I could do that for you, buddy. I don't know, guys, but we're going to find out. Hopefully we got some good news on this little boy. I'm just praying that they found the family or found out exactly where he's from or what it could be. So, all right. Sorry, Willow. I wish you could be there too. I know there's going to be quite a few people there. It'd be nice to meet everybody. It's kind of weird, you know, being on YouTube on the camera and talking to everybody. But once you get to meet them in person, that's what I'm waiting on. So it's quite a few that I'm waiting to meet in person. Saturday, Randy, I read the weather yesterday about Saturday, and it was supposed to be about like a high of 66, partly sunny to partly cloudy. At the Freedom Bridge parking lot, we're meeting at 12:30 Saturday, guys. I know I got to be back in Indy by 5 o'clock because I got prior arrangements, but I want to get up there enough time to do our testing and meet everybody and walk the trail and go to the memorial and go to the bridge and things like that. So, come on, another 4 minutes, guys. I know you're already tired of hearing my voice early this morning. It's all right. Yeah, all you have to do is just put Freedom Bridge in your GPS maps from wherever location you're coming from, and it'll take you straight to the Freedom Bridge. Unfortunately, I've already been there, so I know my way around there now. So looks like we're getting ready to be having this presser here soon, guys. So all right, who's already dinging me this early this morning? All right, it's got to be Grizz. Got to be Grizz. Yep, it's Grizz. Are you in here, Renee? I saw you say thank you for the live stream, but I didn't see your name in the chat. Oh, about 3 minutes, guys. All right, Grizz, when I get a chance, man, as soon as we get done with our live here, I got to run up and get some smokes and come back and take my meds and things that you do first thing in the morning when you got medical conditions like I got. So, but boy, I can't wait till Saturday to meet all you guys. You can't miss Randy. He looks like Grizzly Adams without a beard. He's a big guy. First time I met him was at McDonald's right there in town. I walked in and I said, Lord, my God, he looks like a giant. Even though he's like 6'2" or 6'3", but man, he looks like boy. Yeah, that's what we're waiting on, Janet. We're waiting on this live stream to come on. So, looks like we're preparing to get ready. Yeah, I just don't trust trick-or-treaters anymore, Wanda. I mean, people who are giving out candy and stuff like that. See, when we as kids, we used to go to the local fire station with our candy. They'd run it through a x-ray machine to make sure nobody did any funny stuff to it. So it looks like we're getting ready here, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the volume on here. I'm going to put my mic on mute. So here we go, guys. It's about that time.
I'll just wait till we're at 10:30 since that's what we said.
Still waiting on them to start, guys. So give me just a few minutes. Oh, man, running slow today. What's going on here? Good to see you, Charlotte. Waiting on these guys to come on. Marv, the last couple days, she's had a stomach bug. I guess her husband came home with a bug and gave it to everybody in the house. And she's been under the weather the last couple days. So I've been doing the lives and our videos for the last few days, but she is working on a couple videos. So just give her time to get that stuff done, guys. We'll have more videos out for you guys too. So yeah, if you go to a local Grizz, if you go to a local fire station, a lot of them will have an X-ray machine that they'll run your candy through to make sure nobody did any funky stuff to it. All right, looks like we're getting ready to start here, guys. Let's go. Here we go.
You guys good if I start, or you need me to wait a few seconds? Good morning. Thank you to everybody who came here today. We appreciate your assistance, and we're going to ask for your continued assistance in this matter, in this case today. So we're thankful for everybody that's here. This is a message that we want to get out to everybody and spread across the country. So it's a bittersweet day because no matter what progress is made, what happens in a case, we're still dealing with the tragic death of a precious young child. And that, unfortunately, we can't change that. So bitter in that way, but, the wheels of justice do turn and we do make progress. And so we have information today regarding the case that we're thankful that we're able to come here with that information today and keep moving forward to answer a lot of questions and, again, to ask for your assistance. So I'm just going to, with me today, I'm Sergeant Kerry Halls, the Public Information Officer for the Sellersburg Post, Indiana State Police. With me today is Tara Coates Hunt. She's the Deputy Prosecutor with the Washington County Prosecutor's Office. Again, this is a Washington County, Indiana case, and their office will be handling it, as well as the lead detective in this case, Detective Matt Busick from the Indiana State Police here in Sellersburg. Also have Sheriff Brent Miller from the Washington County Sheriff's Department with us today, and we're just thankful for the support of everybody here. Just a brief overview on this case. April 16th of this year, 2022, a young child was found deceased in a very distinctive suitcase on Holder Road in southeast Washington County near Pekin, Indiana. Holder Road is a dead-end road. It's very isolated, not heavily traveled at all. That was back on April 16th again. At that time, when we were first notified of the child being discovered, very little information was there for our units, our detectives, our officers to work with. There were no witnesses. There were no family members. There were no acquaintances that came forward with any type of information. We only had what we had there at the scene, and that was it. We had worked almost instantaneously with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and any leads from that also proved unsuccessful. No matches to any child that was listed as missing. We had thousands of tips. We did have a dedicated tip line that's still open. Thousands of tips have come in over the past months. Again, this has been approximately 6 months since April 16th on that tragic morning or evening. Thousands of tips came in. Unfortunately, none of those tips were associated with this case. But we are very grateful for those tips that came in. We're grateful for the public's interest in this case, obviously wanting justice for this young boy. Again, at the time, we advised that it was a approximately 5-year-old black male child who was found in that suitcase with no apparent signs of trauma. But we are thankful for all those tips that came in, and we do want the public's help, obviously, and we're thankful for their attention to this case. An autopsy was performed shortly after that, and again, there was no signs of physical trauma that we could detect. The autopsy did not detect any signs of physical trauma that was readily available or seen. The autopsy listed the cause of death as electrolyte imbalance that caused a viral gastronitis. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't explain all that, but that was the cause of death listed on the autopsy. Also, at that time, toxicology reports did not reveal anything. There was nothing in the toxicology reports that would lead us to a cause of death. From the onset, detectives and crime scene technicians and Indiana State Police laboratory personnel utilized physical evidence in hopes of discovering, determining, and locating a suspect in this case. I want to emphasize that no crime scene evidence technologies were spared in this case, in this investigation by the Indiana State Police, including those available only through federal and outside agencies. So we utilized everything we could. Anything that was a possibility was looked into, and the department was 100% behind it. Any type of funding or anything like that that was needed, there was nothing spared in this case. As a result of physical evidence and the investigation itself, our detectives were able to identify 2 suspects in this case. And detectives were also able to identify the deceased child. On October 14th, based on information in this investigation, the Washington County Circuit Court issued 2 felony warrants, arrest warrants. One for Dawn Elaine Coleman, 40, of Shreveport, Louisiana. Another for Dewan, and I'm not sure about the pronunciation on this, Ludi Anderson. Dewan Ludi Anderson, 37, of Atlanta, Georgia, who is the mother of the deceased child. Those felony warrants were for neglect of a dependent resulting in death, a level 1 felony, as well as obstruction of justice, a level 6 felony. As a result of the information gathered in this investigation, Detective Matt Busick, who is the lead investigator, and Detective Chris Tucker, also from the Indiana State Police post here in Sellersburg, traveled to California. On October 19th, just a few days ago, Detective Busick located and arrested Dawn Coleman with the assistance of the San Francisco PD. This investigation is ongoing and continuing. As a result of information that's still being worked on in this investigation, the 2 also traveled to the Los Angeles metro area after arresting Dawn Coleman. They were unsuccessful in locating Dewan Anderson, where they believed she could possibly be. Again, the investigation continues, and as a result of information that's gathered on Tuesday, October 25th, the Washington County Circuit Court issued an arrest warrant for murder for the mother, Dewan Anderson. Again, units were unsuccessful in locating Dewan Anderson in the Los Angeles metro area, if I did not make that clear. On Tuesday, that arrest warrant was issued for murder for Dewan Anderson. Dewan Anderson is currently at large. Again, she is the mother of the deceased. She is described as a black female, approximately 5'5", around 135 pounds. In her last known photo, which I have here courtesy of the Louisville Metro Corrections Department, she had dark brown hair at that time, short, dark, very dark brown hair. Again, this is the last known official photo that we have of her. We're going to attempt to get better photos. We believe we can get a better photo. Again, she's from Georgia, and we're going to attempt to get a better photograph of her for you. Dewan Anderson is last known to have been in the Echo Park area of Los Angeles, California. But since this investigation began, she's traveled to several locations west, including Houston, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco. At this time, her whereabouts is unknown. So again, she's at large, and we're looking for the public's assistance in locating her. At this time, we can also identify, excuse me, identify the young man that was found in the suitcase. He was Cairo Amar Jordan. Cairo Amar Jordan was from Atlanta, Georgia, excuse me. He was 5 years old at the time of his death. And Cairo would have turned 6 this past Monday on October 24th. Again, Cairo Amar Jordan, he was 5, from Atlanta, Georgia. The Georgia the Bureau of Investigations has assisted us in this case as well, and they have made contact with his family members after we were able to get more confirmation that the boy was in fact Cairo, which this investigation has a lot of twists and turns, a lot of information. It may sound like it just moves methodically based on the information I read. So please know that this probable cause affidavit that we'll hand out has a lot of information. That's still just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of information in this case. So realize that we're still not going to be able to answer every in and out of this investigation, but we're giving you as much as we possibly can. And I will give you a copy of that probable cause affidavit. That probable cause affidavit is for Coleman, who again was arrested in San Francisco just a few days ago. That's all the information I have at this time. Detective Busey, would you like to make any statements as far as? No. Okay. So Ms. Coleman will be transported here to Indiana sometime within the next under 30 days. She will be here on Indiana soil to answer to those charges. Again, we need the public's help in locating the mother, DeJuan Anderson. So I've shown that photo. We'll have that photo for you to go out and hopefully a better photo. But we desperately want the public's help in finding her and bringing her to justice. This whole case is all about justice for Cairo. That's the only thing this case has ever been about. So I know there's been lots of questions and why don't we do this and why don't we do that? The investigators have a lot of information and they all have their reasons, but the main reason is the integrity of this case and so that justice is served. And so even some things that may seem obvious that why wouldn't you do this? There are reasons why they can't. And if we have done some of those suggestions that come in from the public and from the media, it's very possible we wouldn't be standing here today. We would have nobody in handcuffs. We would have nobody in jail right now, bringing them back for a trial. So just understand that there's always a reason. We don't take obviously anything lightly at all. It's a very serious investigation. Again, the department's held nothing back on this investigation for our detectives to be able to do what they need to do. So having said that, that's all the information I have at this time. We can take a few moments maybe for a few questions. Again, I'm not going to get into specifics. I've given you a lot, and I will give you the probable cause affidavit that you can look into. Sure. Again, I'll start at the beginning. The first arrest, Dawn, D-A-W-N, Elaine, E-L-A-I-N-E, Coleman, C-O-L-E-M-A-N. She was 40, from Shreveport, Louisiana. The mother and currently at large, DeJuan, D-E-J-U-A-N-E. The middle name spelling, I'm not positive on the pronunciation. The spelling is L-U-D-I-E. Last name of Anderson, common spelling A-N-D-E-R-S-O-N. 37, from Atlanta, Georgia. Cairo Amar Jordan. C-A-I-R-O-A-M-M-A-R Jordan, J-O-R-D-A-N. And he is also from Atlanta, Georgia.
What's Dawn's relation?
Excuse me?
What is Dawn Coleman's relation?
Can't get into that right now. As far as I don't have all the specifics that we're going to get into, but not related physically that I know of, the information that I have.
Do they have any ties to this area at all? Was she in Metro Corrections?
She was, that photo was provided by Louisville Metro Corrections. She was arrested by LMPD a few weeks prior to this case beginning. So my knowledge is they were only here temporarily. I'm sure you guys will do your due diligence and look into the background. And I don't have that information specifically in front of me. I believe it was some type of a theft charge, but I can't say that for sure.
Have you spoken to Cairo's father?
The yes, detectives from this agency have spoken with family members, and we also were assisted by the Georgia Bureau of Investigations.
When you arrested Dawn, what did she say about what happened?
Well, we don't get into any comments about that are made, any statements, any witness statements or suspect statements. But she was arrested. She was, interviewed as part of this investigation.
So what were they doing in Washington?
Do you want to answer that? Do you want any issues with me just giving general background on that? Yeah, they weren't from this area. They were passing through. Again, when you guys do your due diligence and investigating backgrounds, you'll probably come up with some accurate conclusions as to why they may have been in this area. That would have been about the time of if I correct me, that would have been somewhere around the time of the Kentucky Derby in the springtime, but I'm not positive on that.
Do you know if she had any other children?
I do not have any information on other siblings or family members or any children for her.
So for the two charges, the obstruction of justice and neglect of defendant resulting in death, if convicted, what's the maximum sentence?
Can you speak to that, or would you like to speak to that at all? They're both felonies. One is a level 1 felony, the other is a level 6 felony. So a level 1 felony is basically, it's the most serious other than murder, which is just listed as a felony. A level 1 felony is the most severe felony. So it's, I don't have the specifics right now as the maximum they could be sentenced to.
Have they offered any kind of suggestion or why they left the child in a suitcase?
Again, lots of information, and some information is in the probable cause affidavit. We're not going to speak to that this morning. Again, it is an ongoing investigation. We're still looking for one, but there's a lot of information that you will have access to in the probable cause affidavit. So we don't speak as an agency. It's our rule not to speak towards any statements or any motives. We don't speak to any of that.
Are both of the charges for both of the individuals the first?
The first two charges I listed, neglect and obstruction of justice, those charges stand for both. We have a murder warrant listed for Dewan Anderson, the mother.
Can you address why this has become a murder case?
Again, just information that's gathered. The detectives have gone through a lot of information, tons of interviews, in the last few days, lots of information to come over and specialists to work with. So, as a whole, the information that they have makes our department and the prosecutor's office confident in a murder charge, and that's why that warrant's out there. Again, we have probable cause for that murder warrant. So PC affidavit, again, has lots of information listed. You won't have the PC affidavit for Anderson because she is not in custody. That is not a public document. But the other PC affidavit has lots of information. Again, that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. We don't put everything, a whole case, into a PC affidavit, just what's needed to establish probable cause.
Was there any information that Cairo could have been in danger, or that authorities had been called on his mother before for his safety or anything like that?
I don't, at this time, have that information, but I don't have information that's saying that that's the case.
So what's your role in this?
I don't have that information at this time.
Speak about just the importance of getting the public's help. Obviously,
Right.
You all relied on tips from day one.
Right.
And just in locating the suspect.
Right. Again, we had the special tip line. We asked for tips. We got thousands of tips. Unfortunately, none of them were successful. To my knowledge, Cairo, or to our knowledge, Cairo was never listed as a missing person. He was not listed as a missing child. Nobody ever reported him missing. So that would have helped, obviously, had that information been in a system someplace. So that's responsible. People who are responsible for his care and well-being have to do that. That's nothing we can control.
Because parts of these crimes cross state lines and the investigation obviously cross state lines, why has the state of Indiana and Washington County made a point of adjudicating this?
That's very good question. Long story short, basically, that's where the body was located, and the way the law is written, it can stand at that location. We can assume things. We may have information for different locations, but in the end, the child's body was found deceased at that location. So
Any idea where the child died? Specifically, was it in Georgia? Was it on the West Coast?
Again, we can't get into all the specifics of the case, but we can say that he was deceased, when he was located at that location.
What does justice for Cairo look like for you all who have been investigating this for 6 months. I can tell that everyone's feeling emotional in this room. What does justice look like for you?
Justice means bringing everybody who's responsible for this death here and having them stand and go through the system and be found, justice served through the court system. We want justice for Cairo. Many sleepless nights for our detectives and officers involved in this. It's not just our department, it's the Washington County Sheriff's Department was the first officer on scene. The gentleman who found him, the mushroom hunter, if you recall from the original news release, who found him, the whole community came together. Many of you were there for the funeral where he was laid to rest and given a proper burial and the recognition that we could and the honor that we could for him at that time. So justice, for everybody means bringing those responsible for his death before the public to stand trial.
The break in the case then was physical evidence that led first to the suspects or first to identifying Cairo?
Physical evidence, and again, I won't get into exact physical evidence, but physical evidence led to suspects. And, as the investigation continues, it all kind of snowballs or expands.
How difficult or easy was it to find Dr. Coleman and where was she found?
I don't have the specific location where she was located, but, our detectives, our crime scene analysts, our crime scene technicians have a lot of advanced technology and systems at their use to look in and utilize. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not, but they had a lot of different technologies that they utilized. Specifically how they did that, I can't get into that, but just know that a lot of people were working on this case here, Indianapolis, all over, trying to assist in this.
Are you aware that if Cairo had, he was in his mother's custody at the time of his death?
Say that one more time.
Was he, did his mother have full custody of Cairo?
I don't have specific information on the custody, legal custody, but obviously, with the charges, we know that he was with her. So as far as who has official legal custody, I believe that could be the case, but I don't have that specific answer in front of me.
How was it becoming so difficult to find the mother? What happened? You went to LA and then couldn't find her.
Right. Again, sometimes, it's just like anything else. Things change. They may have information that's available, and over time, that information can stop. Again, we don't get into specifics of how it was done, but they obviously were able to at least attempt to track or locate after they had an identity for a certain period of time. But at a certain point, that wasn't. They couldn't follow through with that anymore. It got them as close as they could. They did go to California in an attempt to locate in the last known area. They were assisted by the Los Angeles Police Department there as well. Federal agencies, I need to mention that too, also assisted with this case. Not specifically at that location to my knowledge, but throughout the case, our detectives have been in close contact with various federal agencies who have assisted. But yeah, the technologies, whatever they were at that time that they used, sometimes that's available and sometimes it's not. Sometimes things change, and something we did have is no longer a source.
Speaking to the family of Cairo, did you all get any explanation why there wasn't a missing child?
Yeah, I don't have information on that now, and I haven't spoken with the family, myself, so I'm sure there's reasons, but no, I don't have information as to that. That's very early for me, just for anybody to say, that's not something that I would be a part of and be able to answer, in years or time future after everything's completed. That's probably a matter for the family, but I'm not the one to make that call.
I know this case has been personal for you. There have been sleepless nights for yourself and for so many others in your department and for the community. Anyone who's a parent who is watching this, how does it feel to finally be able to take a breath and read that voicemail?
Well, we're not going to take a breath other than just, we're still in full stride on this investigation. So, yes, obviously, we've been looking, like I said at the beginning, bittersweet. Nothing's going to change the fact that Cairo is not with us, but we're very thankful for the information that we do have, and we can step forward. We've wanted from the get-go to be able to say we've identified this child and we've identified suspects, and we realize it takes time, but in the whole scheme of things, 6 months later, when we started with nothing other than what was in front of us in the woods that evening, and nobody came forward with any useful information. Not anybody's fault, but nobody could provide any information. Nobody that could provide information came forward. So they went from having nothing other than what lay there in front of them to a lot of answers in 6 months' time. And that really speaks well to our Detective Busick and our detectives and our crime scene technicians, our analysts, everybody involved.
What kind of physical evidence?
Again, we don't get into specifics. You'll have information relied to you with the probable cause affidavit that will mention stuff, but we specifically don't mention that during.
You mentioned resources beyond ISP. Could you talk about at least what those resources were that may help fund?
Again, there's numerous technologies that are out there. Some are very advanced, DNA technologies, those types of things. We have the technology within the Indiana State Police for some of that, but there's even more advanced DNA technologies that were assisted by other agencies. Facial recognition technologies were utilized at one point by federal agencies. So again, multiple agencies assisted. Some of those have, especially the federal backing, they can do a lot of things that the state agency can't. So we were very thankful for that information and those abilities to help us.
Would anyone from Washington County like to address how this has impacted your community and the way that your community really adopted this unknown boy?
I mean, excuse me, I'm sorry. I can personally speak, if the sheriff wants to. I'm also from Washington County. It was my pastor who led the service, the funeral service for my church. So the community really came together and was very emotional and traumatic. We had candlelight vigils, but it's impacted the community tremendously. Why is this child here? But Sheriff, would you like to say anything?
I could only echo what you've said, Gary, about that and how that's impacted the community and everybody coming together. And we appreciate, all the hours that has been spent by the Indiana State Police and other law enforcement agencies, to identify this child and to identify suspects and to get at least one of those suspects in custody at this time. And hopefully with the help of the community, we'll be able to get the other suspect, in custody in a timely manner so that we can bring them both back here to Indiana to bring some closure to this case.
Is Don Coleman being cooperative, would you say, in this investigation?
Again, I can't get into statements or anything like that at this time. So again, you'll have information that's listed in the probable cause affidavit that may assist you in some of those questions. But yes, it's very traumatic. Again, I started to say earlier, a lot of sleepless nights, especially by the detectives involved. Detective Busick has spent numerous hours, and not just Detective Busick, but he is the lead investigator and has done an outstanding job. But all the detectives involved and the people involved in this case, so much information to comb over, to read through, to scan, to watch, hours upon hours. And obviously, the people at the scene, the events that they saw unfolded before them that evening. Sheriff Miller's deputy was the first on scene. Very traumatic, event for him. So it's affected the community as a whole very deeply. So I don't have any more specific comments. I think that covers what we want to say here today. So again, once we're done here, I will get the copies of the probable cause affidavit to each of you. But the number one thing at this point is we have a suspect that's at large. We have a murder warrant for DeJuan Anderson, and we need the public's help. No matter where you live, anywhere in the United States, possibly, out of the country, we can use help locating her. So for Cairo, help us locate her for Cairo so justice can be served for him. Thank you.
I know you did this at the beginning, but
All right, guys. Now what I'm going to do is we had one of our subscribers sent me a photo of the child, and I'm going to pull that photo up now. Give me just a moment, guys. There's Cairo, guys. And it looks like he might be a little bit younger than what he is with the day he passed away. But that is the picture of the little boy when he was younger. That looks like his father right there, possibly. It looks like he's a newborn there. Yep, there's Dad. There we go. That looks about his age right now, maybe 4 or 5 years old. That's the best pic we got of him right now. So, but I just wanted to pull it up and show you guys a picture of the little boy, Cairo. And now, next attempt is to get a better picture of the mother, DeJuan Anderson, if possible. So that's what I'll be doing today, is trying to find a photo of her that we could spread it around, get the word out that law enforcement is looking for this woman for the murder of her child. So, any questions, any concerns, anything anybody want to talk about? So, it's pretty sad that a mother, it almost sounds like, to me, if they found the other woman in California, it sounds like her and the mother might have been traveling or driving through or something. That's always a possibility, and just dumped the boy off on their way to California. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it almost sounds like it's just one of those instances where it took place like that. So, but I am going to attempt to try to get the probable cause affidavit on this case too. So we'll have more information on this case. But otherwise, if there's nothing else anybody needs to talk about or any comments to be made, I'm going ahead and ending this broadcast. Pay attention to our community page or YouTube channel. Marv's working on some other videos concerning some other cases. We are still working on the Tabitha Shuck Rains case. We're just doing things behind the scenes until we get everything together we need to do a good live for that case. And don't forget, True Crime Web is also working on that case also. He's working on some other cases too. So, but otherwise, guys, I appreciate everybody coming out. Wanted to get with you in regards to this presser. Thank God they had identified the little boy and the mother and the other person responsible for the death of this child. All I got to say is rest in peace, Cairo. We're all thinking about you, and justice is coming for you, little man. So, to end it on that note, I want to say peace out, y'all. One love. Until next time, y'all have a good day. Bye.